Man, I never saw it coming. One moment I was riding and the next I hit the pavement at nearly 20 miles an hour. And I want to walk you through exactly what happened that day. I want to share with you what I've learned and what's going to be next for me and the Driven campaign. Hey, what is up, friends and family, fellow base camp community who's following my journey? Well, on March the 12th, I was having one of those good vibe kind of days. You know, one of those days where you want to just scream, best day ever. I was on my Wednesday route training on Camp Wisdom, headed east to go through Cedar Hill State Park. And it was a beautiful 70 degrees. And I thought to myself, man, this is a great day, a perfect day to just capture on video all the things that were happening. And so I was beginning to think through the type of video I was going to make that day. I was recording some shots, and I was about 3.5 months into my training for a key event in August called the Leadville 100 in Leadville, Colorado. And I was pumped because I was about 2 months ahead in my FTP goals. And for those of you who are not cyclists, it's just a way to track strength. And I was hoping that with my increase that I was seeing, that I was going to be able to change my original goal from just complete Leadville in 12 hours to maybe I would do 11 or 10 and a half hours. And for me, that would be insane because when I started out, I didn't know if I would get my fitness to where I could even finish. You know, I was on cloud 9, just checking out the hills, driving over the hills, cruising by the water at the park. And for the second day in a row, I had passed a road biker on my mountain bike. Now, if you know, you know, and there's nothing else to say about that. But I was honestly just having a great moment of gratitude as I was thinking about all the people who are behind me, engaging with our nonprofit called the Driven campaign, all of the base camp coaches and the base camp community we were all cheering one another on and our goals and our events. And I decided that I was going to practice an aerodynamic position on the way home. This is one of the skills required for Leadville. Although it's a mountain bike race, it does have elements of road biking in a draft. And so because of that, one of the ways to be aerodynamic on a mountain bike is to take your hands off the handlebars and put your forearms on the inside of the handlebars. And you just kind of lean forward. It brings your upper body down, and you clasp your hands one on top of another. And it helps increase your speed through the wind. And I want to tell you, every time I've done that in the past, I've always been kind of scared. It's a scary position. And truthfully, it's a dangerous position to be in because, as you can imagine, you're not in control of the handlebars if anything drastic happened or suddenly if anything changed or moved. It's quite dangerous. And after about 5 or 10 minutes of cruising in that position, I was thinking to myself, hey, I'm going to go ahead and unweight my arms from the handlebars and regain control and head home and just begin to relax and enjoy the rest of the ride. Well, while making that transition, you have to be perfect. You have to perfectly unweight yourself so that obviously you're not leaning too hard on one handlebar, one side of the handlebars with your hand off, because as you can imagine, it could cause you to spin out of control really quick. And honestly, one moment I was thinking about transitioning, and the next moment, everything changed. Now, I've crashed a few times, not huge crashes, but everything seems to be slow motion. I can visualize the entire thing. This time, it almost seemed as if I blacked out while I was coming over the handlebars because I don't really remember any of that. All I remember is coming down head first at 20 miles an hour as my shoulder impacted the concrete on the bike path that I was riding, just nailing the concrete. And I felt just a crunch in this region of my body, and it just compressed all into itself, and the pain was just instant. It was sudden, and I suddenly was just aware as my body was kind of tumbling and getting ready to settle. I was suddenly aware of what was happening, and all I could think of was, no. In fact, I moaned it out loud. I was like, no, I can't believe this is happening. And man, if you're an athlete or somebody who's aiming for a goal and you face an injury, you know exactly what I'm talking about. My body, as I was laying there, was going into shock, and there were cars kind of lined up really right next to the bike path. Thank God someone was able to come out and rush to my aid. They asked me if I needed an ambulance, and of course, being the stubborn-minded Gen Xer that I am, I said no. I want to call my wife. And so this man helped me find my phone, and it kind of felt like forever as he was handing me my phone. I was just stumbling through trying to put my password in there. Face recognition wouldn't work. And my body during all of that was processing the pain and the shock of the crash. I decided I was going to call my wife, who was really only about 10 minutes away. And as soon as she answered, I told her I was okay, but I was hurt really bad. And I knew that she could tell through my voice that I was really hurt. As I hung up the phone, the man who helped give my phone to me that was there, he was suddenly gone. And I was there by myself. I didn't know what to do. And I was so grateful because the next moment, another cyclist rode up and asked me if I needed any help. And I just remember telling her, no, I don't think there's anything you can do. But I asked her, hey, if you wouldn't mind just staying with me until my wife got here. And of course she said yes, she would. She was so kind to just be with me, talk with me, distract me while my wife arrived. And it didn't seem like it was too much time before my wife was there, and there seemed to be other people surrounding me. And before I knew it, they lifted me up. And of course I'm moaning through the pain, and I'm barely walking. They get me into the vehicle. My body again is just still pulsating. I'm groaning with every breath, trying to just kind of breathe slowly and just manage my pain. And again, my body was still shaking. I was super emotional as I was just kind of realizing that maybe my Leadville journey was over, and our whole family had invested 3 months of training and finances. I had so many people supporting me, and I was just extremely disappointed. And really emotional from the shock of everything. As we got to the hospital, it was so awesome as the charge nurse was a cyclist and began to talk to me about cycling. And I just thought to myself, thank God, that was so sweet of God to give me somebody who understood cycling. And as I was talking to her, sitting in the wheelchair, waiting for my room to come, my body was still shaking and trembling in the wheelchair. And she, before I knew it, was able to get me into my room, and they picked me up and put me on the bed. And of course I'm moaning and making all kinds of noises, and tears are coming down my eyes, and they began to finally give me some drugs. And I was trying to be kind of comical in the moment, and I was just saying, thank God for drugs. I mean, it was such a relief to my body that was just freaking out in shock, freaking out in pain. And so honestly, man, I'm so grateful for modern medicine. The relief was so comforting. In fact, I asked my wife to film so that I could tell you all about what had happened that day. I crashed, was it 2 hours ago?
What time is it?
7:24.
Yep, almost exactly 2 hours.
I was coming home from my workout, going westbound on
Camp Wisdom.
Camp Wisdom.
huge 2-lane bike path. And I was trying to practice being an arrow on the mountain bike. So I had my elbows inside the grip, my hands in front of me, one on top of the other. And I was, about 180 watts going, 18 miles an hour. And I was gonna come out of my arrow position and just transition to the handlebars. And I think my hand got stuck on my garment as I was coming out. That's all it took. It's like seconds later, literally just, all I remember is just hitting the ground really straight over the handlebars. My left shoulder took the full impact of the momentum of my body plus all my body behind it, and it just felt like it all compressed. Boom, right into the shoulder. And I thought I was gonna pass out. But I just laid there, trying to breathe. And some guy came up to me and asked me if I needed help. So he got me my phone, and I called my wife. She came to get me. I didn't want to scare you.
Yeah.
And then the guy just walked away. I just laid there by myself for like 5 minutes. And just cars were passing left and right, nobody stopped. And then another cyclist, a blonde lady, I'll find her on Strava, just stopped. And I told her there's nothing she could do, but if she was willing to sit with me, I appreciated it, and she did.
Yeah, she helped me get your bike in the car.
I asked her to stay to help you because I knew you were going to be just kind of frazzled. You did good.
And then 2 people that were driving by stopped too.
Okay.
An older lady. She couldn't really help because she was old. She couldn't help me pick you up, but she really wanted us to call the ambulance.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I needed
Probably
an
should have.
ambulance, but I'm an idiot. But I also didn't want to spend $10,000 on an ambulance ride.
So the other guy that stopped,
Oh yeah, that guy was so good.
he was really nice.
He took over.
He kind of took over and helped us get you up, and
It
then
hurt
he
so bad.
helped me get you to the car and load you in.
So anyways, so now I'm in the bed. They took x-rays. We're just praying for tears so that
Something that'll heal fast.
get back to training. I've been in tremendous pain. The doc said, is it, where are you pain 0 to 10? I'm like, well, I'm not gonna die, so it can't be 10. My organs are fine, my head's fine.
But it felt like 10.
The shoulder was excruciating, but
The doctor didn't think at that time I needed any surgery, possibly the clavicle, but he thought I might be okay. And so he said, hey, Shawn, the good news is everywhere you had a broken bone, they all can heal on their own if everything goes well, and you're going to be okay. And so, of course, I was grateful for that. Dr. J, the trauma surgeon, had come in to visit me, and he looked at me and said, Shawn, you're a lucky guy, man. You are in tip-top shape. You're going to heal well. You're going to heal just fine. You're strong. You're going to heal fast. And he began to tell me that he, too, was a fellow cyclist. And, man, I cried when he told me that. Maybe it was the drugs I was on, but I was crying as he told me that, just thanking God that he gave me another cyclist. And the cool thing was that he knew all about Leadville. In fact, he told me he was from Colorado and knew that area really well, and even knew some people who had ridden in that race, and said, hey, if there's anything I can do to help you recover, keep me updated in your journey. So that was so very, very kind of him. And I asked him, do you think I can heal up and finish Leadville? And he just said, Shawn, I think if everything goes right, you can heal up, get back to training for Leadville, and finish that race in August. So, of course, I cried again, and I was so happy to hear that news. And of course, I didn't know if it was really going to happen, but it was just cool to have something like that to hold on to. Well, there was really nothing for them to do, so they were going to release me. And as they got ready to sit me up and put me in the wheelchair to head me home, my body started trembling even through all the drugs that were in my body. I passed out as they were putting me in the wheelchair from the pain. And of course, I scared my wife. I scared myself. I freaked myself out. So they laid me back on the bed, and as my body rested and I calmed back down, we tried to hop in the wheelchair one more time so I could head home. And the second attempt was good. We headed home, and I was so grateful to finally be in my own bed that night. Post-accident, I was trying to get myself off the couch, and man, it was a massive feat with the 5 broken bones and torn ligaments, torn muscles. It was just, the body was just in so much pain. I needed lots of assistance the first couple of days around the house, as my body really just got thrown like a rag doll as I was ejected off of my bike. I had a cane stabilizing me as I was trying to walk around my kitchen to just help my body move so that it didn't tighten up too much. And here's me really proud when I was able to walk and eventually put my cane down and walk. It was about a week after the accident that I began to feel more mobile and feel better, and I was ready to move on from this. I went to my orthopedic surgeon follow-up appointment, and he said, "Shawn, you need surgery." And so, man, that next day he ended up putting a top plate on my clavicle and anchoring it down into the bone on my shoulder so that it could heal properly. And honestly, at the end of the day, I was grateful for that. I wanted to make sure that I heal long-term and everything goes really, really well. Once I had the surgery, it was a great success. And here's me post-surgery sharing what all happened that day.
Here we are going on a walk, day 2 after surgery. Significant improvement from injury day 2. Couldn't even get up off of the couch by myself. Pretty amazing how the human body bounces back and rebounds. Just trying to go on a couple walks a day just to kind of get my body moving. It's really easy to just kind of sit and let the pain of the injury take over and just kind of hang out. So I'm trying to stay active within reason.
And here's me on day 2 trying to struggle to get my words out, giving an update on my surgery.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We are day 2 post-surgery. Had surgery on Thursday at 11 o'clock and got out about 3. So today's Saturday, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So yeah, about 2 days out of surgery. As you can hear, I have a pretty awesome lisp. My tongue's still numb from the procedure, anesthesia, nerve blocker, whatever, I'm not sure. They said 2 to 3 days that'll go away. But just kind of wanted to capture this. I was planning on doing like a full video today on just the injury recap and just all the things that happened, but kind of thought to myself, it's kind of tough to talk right now, so without subtitles you might not be able to understand me. So anyways, but I did want to capture this just so that I can mentally keep track of my progress every day. It's encouraging to just look back at how far I come along each new day as I'm recovering.
And here, as we're recording this video, I'm about 2 weeks past surgery. And as you can see, over the last couple weeks, my speech has gotten way better. We were able to rule out, I had to go back to the hospital, rule out all the scary stuff, stroke, brain bleed, and all those things, had MRIs and CT scans. And the doc just seemed to think that my, either a nerve on my tongue or my vocal cord somehow got clipped, and it just disrupted my speech. And they just said, hey, in the next couple weeks, things will get better. So they are getting better, and I'm super, super grateful for that. Well, as I reflect on some of the things I learned this about myself. Number one, it's hard to be weak. Man, I'm usually the person bringing strength and energy into the room, and really over the first couple of weeks of my accident, all I could do was sit, let others assist me and bring me food. I couldn't get off the couch on my own. I couldn't pull my clothes up on my own, go to the restroom on my own. And man, it was so very humbling, and not even just physically, but emotionally. When I walk into the room, I like to say hi to people and encourage them and bring strength, and I had none of that to give. I literally was just able to walk into the room and say hi, and I just didn't have the emotional capacity to be me, and that was so very humbling. The second thing I learned is this: I'm never riding in that aerodynamic position on my mountain bike again, and I don't encourage anybody else to ever try that. And lastly, here's what I've learned. I've learned this, that community is powerful. And man, without community surrounding me over these last couple weeks, they would have been more difficult than they were. My wife and daughter have been absolute superstars when it comes to caring for me, not just physically, but on an emotional level during my recovery. Our church community has been showering us with so much love, food, gift cards, prayers, and it has been such an encouragement. And then to each one of our family member and friends, we're so grateful. You know, when life throws us a curveball, and it will throw us curveballs, things do not always go as they're planned. One of my coaches, Tim Cusack, says this, that we should soar when things don't go as planned. And soar simply means for this, it means S, stop and assess the situation. 2, observe and gather the information. 3, assess your options and make a plan. And then 4, respond to that plan accordingly. And so that's what I've done. You know, a lot of people are asking me, what is next, Shawn? Well, regarding Leadville and the Driven campaign, so far, we're going to press forward. This is just a setback, and we are hoping to finish the race, and there's a window of opportunity for me to recover and get back on the bike and hopefully finish this event, the Leadville 100. At the same time, if that doesn't happen, the Driven campaign is still moving forward. You know, those of you who have joined our influence team, and maybe you've even contributed to the Driven campaign, we're all doing this because of our passion. We're doing this because of our love for the mission and our call to the mission. You know, we're not investing in the Driven campaign because some guy's riding his bike up a mountain, or somebody, guy or girl, is doing a long distance race. We're doing it to raise awareness for the heroes of the Driven campaign. And here's what you can do to stay informed with the Driven campaign and help us out in our efforts. Do this. Number 1, simply stay up to date with everything that is happening by joining our influence team. We're going to have a link in the YouTube description so that you can just simply click that link and stay connected. Next, make sure to follow all of the prompts on the influence team emails that we're going to be sending out to you as you join our influence team. And then just like us everywhere that socials are happening, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And let's make sure to stay connected together, because here's what I know. When we work together and everybody does their part, we are going to help the real heroes of our nonprofit partners to go further, faster. Can't wait to share with you what's coming next. Keep your eye open as I share my healing journey with you.